Hey, this is BJ. Very basic Bible. Gonna do a Ruth Bible study. Here we go. Oh, here we go. Share my screen. Less pixelated BJ, and definitely less better quality screen for the Bible itself. So we're just gonna read Ruth chapters 1 through 4, I believe. Let me look real quick. I believe I'm at a good spot where just go and read through it. Probably should have done it every single time we get to a new chapter or something. Hey, Ruth 4, come on. Wait. Okay, Ruth. I guess something's happening. Ruth 4. There we go. Little thing is spinny, spinny, spinny. Spinny, spinny. So probably while it's spinning and looking, probably should have done it. Let's try this. Every other time. You want to read the whole book. You want to get the whole book in you. You want to really digest it, you know, um, as a whole. Yeah. Uh, you wouldn't eat a hamburger whole, one bite. You sit down for dinner and you got 3 courses. You try to eat all of it whole. You're watching a movie, right? You watch the whole thing all at once. No, no, no. It plays out. Every once in a while you pause it to go to the restroom. It plays out, right? Your favorite movie you watch over and over again. But then eventually you start watching behind the scenes. If you really, really like the movie, you find clips of it to watch online. Some people like memorize lines and actors' names and things from the movie, but you watch the movie as a whole, right? Watch the whole thing, start to finish. We should get our Bible books down that way. Some of them are really long, of course, and it would be hard to do that. So you read them story by story, not chapter by chapter, because sometimes the chapters overlap the story. Sometimes there's a story within a chapter. Sometimes you need to read multiple chapters because the beginning of a story, and then there's other, and then the rest of the story. I know it could be hard, but that's why you want to read through the book, the entire book or entire stories of the book. Let's see down here. All right, last time I got down to 17. A son has been born to Naomi. They named him Obed. Okay, we talked about the son, right? Yeah, yeah. We probably talked about naming this. I mean, they name kids stuff. They name people stuff. I mean, why wouldn't they name him something? Sorry, I'm getting excited. They named him, right? Naomi took the boy, cradled him against her breast, and cared for him, right? Let's go see. Watch this. Oh, gonna make this a little smaller. Ooh. So it looks like Naomi. It says, where am I at? Okay. Let's see. Then the women said to Naomi, "Blessed is the Lord who has not failed to provide you today with a redeemer." Of course, Boaz was the kinsman redeemer. He said to Ruth, but wait, in chapter 3, he said, wait, there's another relative closer than I. We'll see if he would like to redeem you. And if not, I'll redeem you. If he doesn't redeem me, I'll redeem you. Tells her that in chapter 3. They have this whole discussion at the beginning of chapter 4. Hey, you want a redeemer? The guy's like, yeah, sure. Do you want to redeem the land? Boaz says, do you want to redeem the land? Yeah, sure. Boaz says, okay, but you're also going to get Ruth the Moabitess. Oh, no, don't want to do that, said the man. So now Boaz is the redeemer. But here, Boaz, the redeemer, took Ruth when they came together as husband and wife. Pretty cool. They came together as wife. The Lord enabled sexual relations. Yeah, that's why as husband and wife. um, He might have already been married. This seems like it's a Levirate marriage. You know, I say he seems he's older. It doesn't say he has kids, but what's a Levirate marriage, right? Um, let's talk about that in a minute. Maybe we'll read through it next time because now all sorts of stuff's coming into my head. Well, we've already talked about the Levirate marriage where the brother, if you die and your wife had no kids, your brother would then sleep with your wife to have a kid for you. You're dead. What do you care? Well, back then they cared a lot. If I died, my wife was childless, one of the worst things that could happen. Oh, So God said, hey, I'll make a concession. The closest of kin, say the brother, sleeps with the wife, the brother of the husband. So you're a lady, your husband dies, you got no kids, you go, hey, brother-in-law, come on over here as husband and wife. In other words, as one. He's not sleeping with you for a fling. He's not like, okay, there we go, my job's done. Like, oh, this is gross. Yeah, husband and wife. A husband is to take care of the wife. How does the husband take care of the wife in this particular situation? Gives her a son who can, what's it say? Right up here. Um, oh, he, okay, um, bore a son. God provided you today with a redeemer. Remember, Boaz was a redeemer, but the son is also called a redeemer. Why? The son will restore your life and be the support of your old age. If we go back to chapter 1, what's going to happen to a lady in her old age? Women in the Bible, they didn't like necessarily work outside the house. They were seen as needing to be taken care of. It's not like, oh, the Bible said that, but this other religion at the time were like, no, women are free. And this other culture at the time were like, well, we've got a different way of seeing women. Well, if you read the Quran, it says this about women. And if you read the Hindu scriptures, it says, no, no, no. In general, in the ancient world where the Bible was, women are seen to be needed taken care of. Women stay at home and take care of the house. Men go out and take care of the family that way. So a lady, she gets old, she's all alone. She got no husband to be taking care of her. Or what if her husband gets too old to take care of her? Right here, Control F, son. We're gonna find it. Don't worry. His two sons, they would have taken care of her. We'll just go down. I bet I can find it. Go back, each of you, to your mother's house. May the Lord deal kindly with you as you have dealt with the dead and with me. Okay, Naomi, remember, is telling Ruth and Orpah, her daughter-in-laws, go back to the house, each of you to your mom's house. May the Lord deal kindly with you. The Lord grant that you may find security, each of you in the house of your husband. So hopefully you get a husband where you can find security. Go live with your mom to be taken care of. Hopefully you can find you a husband and he will give you security. In what ways? A, he takes care of you now, and B, he gives you a son. So whenever you and your husband get old, your son can take care of you. If you get old without a husband, well, then you ain't got a son or a husband to take care of you. Hopefully family would take you in. See, it's today, what do we do? Hey, mom, you're getting old. Ship them off to the nursing home. No good. Uh, nursing homes care, I hope, about the patients. And hopefully if you find a good one that's really loving and caring and you visit your parents, I mean that could happen. It's not the way it happened in ancient cultures. Nope. You took care of your elders. Naomi said, turn back, my daughters. Why will you go with me? Do I still have sons in my womb that may become your husbands? She's like, look, I'm old. I don't have kids to give you. Why do they want kids? A lady wants kids. They need kids. That's just, oh, must have them. You know, let's see. Psalm. I don't remember which psalm. Oh, hey, why not? No. Solomon. Okay, let's see. Song of Songs, of course. Psalm. Here we go. A prayer for the need song of ascent. Okay, I think this is it. 127. Unless the Lord builds the house, they'll labor in vain who build it. They labor. Unless the Lord built the house, they labor in vain who build it. Unless the Lord guards the city, in vain does the guard keep watch. If the Lord's not guarding the city and you put a human to guard it, it is vain for you to rise early and put off your rest at night. Why do you rise early? To build a city, I think. Because why do you put off your rest at night? To guard the city. You're going to guard it, right? To eat bread earned by hard toil. All this God gives to his beloved in sleep. Oh, okay, that's good. Thank you, Solomon. All right, now, number 2. Certainly, sons are a gift from the Lord, the fruit of the womb a reward. Like arrows in the hand of a warrior are the sons born in one's youth. Blessed is the man who has filled his quiver with them. He will never be shamed, for he will destroy his foes at the gate. They liked kids. Yeah. So how's a kid going to be a redeemer? Right? Provide you today with a redeemer. There we go. The kid will take care, and the kid gets the land. The kid gets the possessions. The kid makes sure the family name doesn't go out of existence. So the kid, the baby, just by virtue of being born, redeems. It's pretty cool, huh? Kind of like kids sometimes are like, oh, this is the princess that was born. Oh, wait, y'all have a prince that is born? Okay, let's make an alliance. Yeah, our son and daughter will get married. And they're just babies. It's like, thanks, mom. I made my mom happy when I was born. Did I make her happy? I didn't do anything. Just being born, she became happy, right? He redeemed in this way, the kid. He will restore your life and be your support of your old age. For his mother is the daughter-in-law who loves you. Ruth is an awesome lady. What did she do? She stayed with her mom. She took care of her mother-in-law. She stayed with Naomi. She took care of Naomi by going out to the field and getting food. She took her mother-in-law's advice. Her mother-in-law said, hey, stay in the field with Boaz. And Ruth did so. Naomi said, hey, I need to look out for you. Okay, I'm your mother-in-law. I should provide for you. Go do what I say with Boaz. And Ruth said, I'll do it. I mean, she's doing what her mother-in-law asked. She's staying with her mother-in-law. She's taking care of her. I'm still trying to count. Like, if Ruth is that, Ruth has awesome character. It seems there is nothing bad said about her. If she's this good of a person, right here, the kid will restore your life and be your support of your old age. How? You can't see the future. Can't see the future, right? What if the kid grows up and is a punk and leaves? His mother is the daughter-in-law who loves you, right? I'm gonna type this in. Let's see what happens. Right here, Proverbs 22. Train the young in the way they should go. Even when old, they will not swerve from it. Now, do some people swerve from it even if they're trained well? Yes. But in general, you have a good parent and you do good at parenting, you're going to turn out good kids. My parents were not the best ever of parents, but they did teach us love. They did teach us to be good to one another. They did. They taught us a lot of things, to take stuff seriously. They taught us a lot of things, and we all turned out with basically um we want to care about each other. We want to help other people, right? Yeah. Pretty cool that way how that happens, you know? Train the young in the way she should go. Okay. There was another one. Um Door post. We'll try that. Take some of the blood. Deuteronomy 2. Deuteronomy. Here we go. 6:9. Full chapter. This then is a commandment, the statutes and the ordinances which the Lord your God has commanded that you be taught to observe in the land you are about to cross into to possess, so that you, that is, you, your child, and your grandchild may fear the Lord your God by keeping as long as you live all his statutes and commandments, which I enjoin on. I is Moses. Moses is talking to them. Thus have a long life. Hear then, Israel, be careful to observe them, that it may go well with you, and that you may increase greatly. You, just them? One second. Exodus. Oh, no, no, no. 10 Commandments. Where is it at? The son is going to be Redeemer. He will restore your life. Why? Because Ruth is showing that she is a good mother. She will she will most likely raise her children up. That's why she's worth more than 7 sons. 7 being the number of perfection, right? That's a little rhetorical flourish. She is worth more to you than anything in the world, you know. All right. 10 Commandments. But there's also Deuteronomy, but we'll just read. There's 10 Commandments repeating. Okay. Honor your father and your mother, you child, honor your father and your mother, that you, child, may have a long life in the land the Lord is giving, your God is giving you. Honor your father and mother, so you may have a lot. Why? Right? Because your father and mother are training you up. Your father and mother are giving you the land which you will live on. You may have a long life in the land which the Lord your God is giving you. Your father and mother give you your land, and you go, nope, I'm going to go do my own thing. And you do like the prodigal son. He took his inheritance, squandered it. He's got nothing to live on now. He wasn't looking toward the future. This is very practical. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord alone. Therefore, you shall love the Lord your God with your whole heart and with your whole being, with your whole strength. Yes, Jesus said that in the New Testament. Take to heart these words which I command you today. Keep repeating them. Keep repeating them to your children. Train the child up the way you should go. Okay. Recite them when you are at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you get up, all the time. The statutes, the commandments that God gave them for their flourishing, right here. Bind them on your arm as a sign, and let them be as a pendant on your forehead. Write them on the doorposts of your houses and on your gates. Now, does the Lord literally want him to do that? Why would you ask that, BJ? Maybe he does. Maybe he does. Does he want you? Okay. Keep repeating them to your children. Okay. When do you stop? Do you sleep? Okay. So maybe there's a little hyper. Well, of course you sleep, BJ. Quit being silly. I mean, if we're going to take it literally, keep repeating doesn't tell us the interval between the repetitions, right? Recite them when you were at home and when you were away. When you're away, if you're away and your kids are, when your kids are with you, anytime you're with your kids, or recite them to yourself. You can say them in your mind when you lie down, and even when you're asleep. Go to bed and say them. When you get up saying them. Bind them on your. I mean, Keep them with you at all times. They might as well be bound to your arm on the doorpost of your home. Why just the doorpost of your house of the gates? Because that's where you go in. You leave your house and you go into your house, right? Why not put them at the other places where you'll see them all the time? You know, in other words, raise your kids right by constantly reminding them of God and His stuff, all this stuff, all the God stuff. Naomi is a good daughter-in-law. She is honoring her mother. Ruth is a good daughter. Ruth is a good daughter-in-law. She's honoring her mother-in-law, Naomi, right? He will restore your life of your old age. For his mother is a daughter-in-law who loves you. So she's going to train that child in the way he should go. And when he grows old, he will not swerve. Swerve, that was what it said? Yeah, from it, right? She is worth more to you than seven sons. Seven sons with some with a bad mom or something, but one son with a good mom to train him up, priceless. That's why the boy can be called the Redeemer, right? When they came together as husband and wife, Ruth and Boaz, the Lord enabled her to conceive. She bore a son. The Lord enabled her to conceive. Yeah. And sorry. Then the women said, that was a crazy cough. 1 second. All right. Then the women said to Naomi, the women, random women, no women of the town. Remember, I think it's the end of chapter 1. It's like the women of the neighborhood came and, oh, hey, we're in chapter 1 right here. Let me see. Therefore, Naomi saw Ruth being firmly resolved in her soul, was determined to go with her, and that she was unwilling to be dissuaded, that nothing further could convince her to return to her own. Naomi's not convincing Ruth to return to her land. Ruth is going with Naomi. And so they set out together. Duh. And came to Bethlehem. When they had entered the city, the news spread quickly among them. And the women said, this is that Naomi. She said, don't call me that. I'm bitter. Don't call me that. Therefore, Ruth and Naomi. Okay, so there's the women. No women. Boaz said, stay in chapter 2 said, stay with my women. And Naomi said, wherever Boaz is, stay with him and his women. Now we got the women, coming to bless Naomi. Pretty cool, huh? My elbow itches. I'm like, oh, I'm scratching it so hardcore. Women came and blessed them. They will not provide you. He's not failed to provide you a redeemer. May he become famous throughout Israel. That's good. That's good. Yeah. Pronounce some blessings on him. Restore your life and be your support of your old age. For his mother is the daughter-in-law of you. She is worth money. Naomi took the boy, cradled him against her breast, and cared for him. Now, when you become a mom, you start to lactate, start to create milk in your breast. The baby needs breast milk. They didn't have formula in ancient times. They just didn't. They weren't like, oh, I'm too tired to feed the baby today. If baby was hungry, you fed the baby. You don't have nannies to hand it off to. You don't have a nursery you could just send the baby to and they just give a formula. Like, oh, I'm too tired. Here, you take the baby. Then that baby's hungry. You need to feed it, right? Much more natural back then, much more of necessity. They didn't have modern day amenities. Naomi's an old lady and cared for the baby. Naomi could change the baby's diapers, a swaddling cloth, could change the baby's cloth, could clean the baby, could feed the baby food when like regular food's being given to it, eventually keep the baby warm. She could be the nanny. The cost. But could she be a wet nurse? What's a wet nurse? A lady who is lactating, who takes care of your baby for you. How would that happen? I'm not sure actually, unless the wet nurse had a baby. So then her body naturally, biologically starts to lactate, starts to create milk. Hey, well, then, yeah, it starts to create milk. Then I say, hey, I need a wet nurse. Oh, here's a lady. Yeah, I've heard about like wet nurses, like we need to find a wet nurse. It's like, oh, well, all of them are taken up. Well, I'm a wet nurse. Were you lactating right now? Oh, no, I'm not. Like, how did it happen unless you have it? Huh, I'm curious. Let's look this up. Wet. The term wet nurse, I believe, is not in the Bible. Yeah, see, a woman who breastfeeds and cares for another's child, specifically breastfeeds. You can see pictures over here, kind of, yeah, you know. Wet nurses are employed if the mother dies or she is unable or chooses not to nurse, not to give the baby. Yeah. A woman employed to suck. Okay. So how do you, ooh, the life-saving, horrifying history of wet nurses. Jay's story. That's a Jewish. Huh. Um, how long can a woman be a wet nurse? As long as the baby's suckling, you'll produce milk. She estimates a wet nurse's career could last 9 or 10 years. Dang, not man. So as long as you got a baby sucking on it, I guess it's just your body's gonna go, oh, I still need to produce milk. Can you still get a wet nurse? Wet nurses still exist, but not many people talk about it. And when it does happen, it's much less of a paid position as it was like it was, oh, it's now not a paid position, but centuries ago it was. Okay. Much more of a casual affair. Yeah, I'll just let your baby suck on my. Can grandmothers produce milk? So, okay, punch in. I don't know if that grandmothers can still produce breast milk and breastfeed babies irrespective of their age. The breast milk starts to flow, they have to be taking a lot of fluids. Okay. Once the grandmother is well nourished and properly fed, the breast milk will still be of high quality. That's good. You want a high quality. That's just a random website. Is it okay to drink your own breast? Okay, that's just wet nurse medical. This is part of very basic Bible. Where did the Bible go, BJ? Good question. All right. Medical wet nurse. Encyclopedia definition. I want to see a study in ancient medicine. Okay. PubMD. PubMed. A history. Old lady wet nurse. Let's see what happens. Okay. Is she older? I don't know. Does she look older? Maybe. I don't know. What is a wet nurse? Mothers who weren't wet nurses. But what about older ladies? These pictures are awkward. That's just because we're not used to it. In the Bible, probably just so used to it. Of course, these aren't from the Bible times. Um, how old? Old age wet nurse, maybe. Mm, can grandmothers? Okay, I looked that one. Can a woman in her 60s lactate? Let's see. Women who have never given birth and those well past menopause can still produce breast milk. Okay. Women who have never given birth. Wow, okay. How do you lactate after 50? Let's see. As stated above. Okay. La Leche League International. La Leche means milk. Through breast emptying, breastfeeding, pumping, and hand exertion. Yikes. The effectiveness of these physical techniques can be enhanced by the use of Galactagogues, medications, herbs, and here, okay, that's just weird. But they didn't have all that stuff. They didn't have breast pumps and galactagogues back in the Bible. Medications, herbs, and homeopathic remedies, maybe? I don't know. How do you relactate? Well, she never had kids. No, she did. She had two boys. How does one relactate? Hand express or pump at least 8 to 12 times per day. Oh, dang. If baby will latch on, that's I did. Coddle.com. Give express pump. Okay. So I guess okay. So an old lady can a woman and do one more. If the mother's menopausal due to surgical removal of her reproductive organs or naturally occurring menopause. If the mother's menopausal due to surgical removal of her reproductive organs or naturally occurring menopause, either way, if she can't have babies anymore, she can still breastfeed and bring in her milk supply. All she needs are breasts and a functioning pituitary. Okay, I think that answer. I mean, random websites, I agree, but there were a lot of them. They didn't seem to be copying, pasting each other. They seem to be saying, I mean, I guess Naomi could produce milk for the baby. I mean, Ruth needs to go out all the time and be getting food. Remember, chapter 2. So she went and gathered the ears of grain. Ears of grain. Yep. Ears of grain. Stalks of grain. Ears of corn. I don't know. Here. Okay. Ears of grain after the completion of the reaping. But it happened that this field was owned by Boaz, who was of the kindred of Elimelech. Remember, Elimelech is Naomi's husband. Okay. Ruth the Moabite said to her mother-in-law, if you order, I will go into the field and gather the ears of grain, which escaped the reaping hand. Which escaped the reaping hand. That means, in other words, somebody has some grain and they drop it. What is she going to do? She's going to be, look, please let me go to the field and glean among the ears of grain. Okay, ears of grain. I guess ears of grain is a thing. I'm thinking ears of corn. I'm from Texas. I don't know. Ears of corn, stalks of corn, ears of grain, stalks of grain. I don't know. Okay. So I was like, haha, ears. Jokes on BJ. Ears of grain after one who, okay, glean heads of grain. Maybe someone harvesting grain there will be kind enough to, okay, to let me gather behind what they leave behind. To let me gather what they leave behind. Yeah. So she's going to go out into the field. Naomi answered her, go, my daughter. So she's going to go out in the field. So Ruth went out and gathered ears of grain after the completion of the reaping. But it happened that this field, okay, go to his own by Boaz. Behold, Boaz came out. The Lord be with you. Boaz said, whose young woman is this? This is the Moabite woman. She asked to gather the remnants of the ears of grain, following the steps of the reapers. And from morning until now, she has remained in the field, and indeed, not for one moment has she returned home. Oh, it says, except she took only a short rest in the shade. Yeah, except that she stayed a little in the house, except for a short rest. The meaning of the Hebrew is uncertain. Me, okay. So it's so the Catholic here goes with she hasn't even returned home, but all the other ones, she's been sitting in the house for a little while. That's what most of the other ones say. Most of the other ones say she took a short rest. All right. So in other words, Ruth has been working all day. She asked the very night she's been working all day to get grain. Right? She needs grain. She needs to feed her family. And over here, everything has been reported to me. What things you have done for your mother-in-law. See, she's a good lady, right? Boaz said, when mealtime begins, come here and eat bread. Okay, good. Let me see. So she gathered in the field until evening. So she works all morning, eats some lunch with Boaz, and works in the field until evening. Man, carrying this. Okay. She found about the measure of an ephah of barley, 3 measures. Carrying this, she went home. And Boaz somewhere told her, like, come, let me see. Her mother, it's better for you to go reaping. And so she joined with the young women of Boaz, and from then on reaped with them until the barley and the wheat were stored in the barns. Okay, that's good. She just kept weeping. She kept weeping the wheat, reaping the wheat. She kept gleaning the wheat. If she's doing that all day, she's not necessarily going to have time to take care of her kid. She doesn't have a husband. Like, wait, BJ, I thought you said husbands take, yes. She doesn't have one though, right? So she goes out and works, does the job of husband for now, does the working, the job, not the job of husband. She's doing the job of a beggar or a woman or somebody, a slave, somebody who can't get a job, who doesn't, or who typically doesn't get a job. Uh, Kids, beggars, women, slaves. Makes it sound like, wait, you're putting women in the class with, wait, you're making beggars sound bad. No, no, no. These are, what's the commonality? They don't normally have regular jobs. So they do. God was like, hey, we're not just going to let these people just go hungry. So what you're going to do, he told us this in Leviticus, which we looked at a while back. You are going to purposely, don't reap to the very edges of your field. Don't reap the corners of your field. And B, whatever you drop on accident, don't pick it up. Okay. People who can't typically get jobs now. Slavery is a job, I guess. Beggars, foreigners who come in with nothing. They don't have land because they're foreigners. Women who normally don't have jobs. Kids, I guess. People down on their luck, whatever. They can then go and get food and live. So God's like, I could force you. I could say, Israelites, start taking care of them and do all this. Or, I mean, and in one sense, he does. How does he do it? Tells them to leave the food so they can go get it. Pretty good God. Pretty cool. That's pretty good. And that's what she's doing here. She's working, right? She's doing that. Might not have time to take care of baby. Naomi took the boy, cradled him against her breast, and cared for him. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah. A lot of people see Ruth, I don't want to say feminists, but there are feminists, yeah. But a lot of people who are like, women get a bad rap, women are getting bad stuff. They love the book of Ruth. I mean, what's happening? Two ladies are taking care of themselves. Two ladies are taking charge. Ruth is kind of taking the position of a husband or a man who goes out and works, kind of. Naomi is kind of taking the position of patriarch. Now we would call it the matriarch, but the patriarch. She takes the kid. She cares for the kid. The kid is not Ruth, the kid is hers. Just like in a real family, you got a lady has a kid. It's not the mom's, it's the dad's. No, it is both of theirs. And the mom does take care of it, but the dad is in charge of the family. It would say the dad took care of the kid. Right here. Naomi's taking care of the kid. Yep. Since they have no man, they go and they find a man for what needs to be done for them. The man does what needs to be done for them, but they are the ones in charge, the ladies. Right? Really, what this should be teaching us is not, oh, look, women can do for the, obviously. It's teaching us that men and women can be good people to each other. Boaz can be a man without being a jerk. Boaz can love and help. Yeah. A son has been born to Naomi. Obviously, the son was born to Ruth. But like we said, Naomi was the one whose two sons died. Son could mean like son, grandson, great grandson, great grandson, right? Naomi is the one who lost the sons. Ruth is she's still a foreigner. Now she's an Israelite, but she still can't. So Naomi is the person. Naomi lost Elimelech and all that. I'm just trying to think of reasons why they would say, "Oh, Naomi, Naomi," you know. Trying to go back to Naomi. That's the whole, if there's a man, he would be the one they're talking about, but there isn't. So talking about the woman. The Bible is pro women. That's kind of what I was talking about a moment ago, right? They named him Obed. He was the father of Jesse, the father of David. Let's go look. Obed. Let's go see. Obedience. Uh, just Obed. Let's see if that works. Nope, it still gives me. Hmm. I'm gonna do a plus. No. Let me see. Whole word. So I just get Obed, not obedience. Search. Yeah. Control F. Okay. Yeah, I knew that. I knew that. What is the difference of words? Okay. Um, search for word only. Wait. Um, what use is quotation? We'll figure this out. Marks. Search terms. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Phrase searching, getting the most at pub. Phrase searching. Okay, web science. Quotation marks on the search engine. When a group of words or numbers must appear exactly how you type them. Okay. Let's try Obed minus obedience. Okay. A son has been born to Naomi. They named him Obed. Salma was the father of Boaz. So Ruth, Obed, Ruth for to Ruth. Take his name. Obed Edom, the Gittite. So he's a bad guy. Or he's a Gittite. Not necessarily a bad guy, I guess. It could be a Gadite, Gittite. Yeah, I say, but no. I think David was on one to take the Lord with him and to say, okay. So Obed Edom must have been a good person. Yeah, I'm remembering the story now. Okay, sorry. Lord bless. So here's all this stuff about Obed Edom. First Chronicles 2:12. Boaz became the father of Obed. Obed became the father of Jesse. Okay. Philel became the father of Obed. I don't think that's the same Obed because Boaz is the father of Obed. And here, Ephlal became the father of Obed. Okay, here's a later one. Obed became the father of Jehu. Jehu the father of Azariah. Jehu and Azariah were kings of Judah. So they were not, no. Wait, were they kings of Judah or Jerusalem? I mean, Judah or Israel? Actually, I believe it's Israel because they were talked to by the Bell worship in Israel. Yeah, the northern kingdom of Israel. Okay. Because Elijah and Elisha were going to the northern king of Israel. So the northern kingdom of Israel versus the southern kingdom of Judah. They're going to the northern kingdom of Israel, and Elijah and Elisha were the Elisha specifically. Uh, Elisha was the one who anointed Jehu to be king. Elisha sent one of his prophets, and that prophet, in the name of Elisha, in the name of Yahweh, anointed Jehu king. And that was in Israel. Okay. All right. Here's another Obed. All these Obed. Oh, there goes the Obed Edom, the Gittite again, because Samuel and Chronicles record a lot of the same things. More Obed Edom. Obed Edom. Is that the same Obed Edom? Maybe. Yeah, there's a lot of Obed Edoms. I'm just going really quick. I'm looking at my. Oh, Azariah, son of Obed. We just read about that. Jehu was the son of Azariah. As Jehu was the dad of Azariah, and Obed was the dad of Jehu. We just read that up above. That if this is the same, if it's the same genealogy, that shows us sometimes genealogy just skip names. Sometimes I do. Might be a different genealogy. I mean, well, what's the, well, up above it said Jehu to Obed to Jehu, Jehu to Azariah. But now it's saying Obed to Azariah. Like, what's the coincidence? There would be the same. They used a lot of the same names, just like we do. My name's Robert. My name's BJ. Those are two very common names. I've met a lot of Robert Allens and BJ Allens. So I mean, okay, I guess that's all. But I don't know anything about Obed except this. He was the father of David. Seems to be all we know. David was unwilling to take the ark of the Lord with him in the city of David. David deposited instead at the house of Obed Edom the Gittite. I don't think this Obed is David's dad. David's like, hey, dad, I'm going to leave it with you. Obed Edom wasn't a Gittite. He would be a Boazite. No, an Elimelechite. Elimelech was would be Elimelech and Naomi. Boaz and Ruth are Obed's parents biologically. But archally, patriarch, matriarch, through the family line genealogically, biologically it'd be Ruth and Boaz, but kind of through the family line, it would be Obed would be the son of, I guess, like Naomi and Elimelech through Ruth and Boaz. Kind of weird, but I mean, why do you think? I was like, sometimes they skip names of genealogies. You see how confusing this could be when everybody's brother's sleeping with everybody's, his brother's wife, who's his brother died, and everybody like, no, hey, you sleep with him. No, you sleep with her. Maybe, I mean, this could get confusing. Yeah. So why do we worry about it? Well, no, this name needs to match up exactly. Why? I mean, wait, it's not like they're like, oops, I got it wrong. I mean, for those of you who are no, it needs to be literal. It needs to be exact. These needs to match up perfectly. They're just not going to sometimes. Different people wrote genealogies a little different, not because they were wrong, you know. So yeah, if you're worried about that, why is this coming into my head? Um, just bothers me. People are like, oh no, this one little, there's a thing isn't exactly like the other thing, and so we have to work to figure it out, and we have to get all worried. Oh no, the Bible doesn't match the Bible. Oh no, of course. I mean, no, different people write different things. They're not like making errors or lying. I mean, you know, it, it's okay for it to be different. Some people really do get worried about that stuff. So Obed Edom would not be the father of David. Oh, the grandfather of David. Oh, so David pawns it because Obed was the father of Jesse. Jesse became the father of David. Jesse the Gittite. That would be weird. Obed Edom. Edom is Esau. There's Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Jacob had a twin brother named Esau. For some reason, they started calling him Edom. Right. So I mean, Obed Edom. Why Edom? Maybe it has nothing to do with that Esau. See, I mean, we can make this relations all day. In the end, we're not sure about some of this stuff in the Bible. In the end, we're just not, Genealogies are weird. That we don't know. Is that the Edom for now? We got to go look that up. We could go study, but shouldn't let it bother us. Bother of us? We shouldn't let it bother us. This is just looking at right now. Obed was the father of Jesse, the father of David. This tiny genealogy. Look at this. These are descendants of Perez all the way down to David. Obed, Jesse, and David are the last ones. I mean, we got a lot of names. And if we looked up all those names in the genealogy, we would probably find differing genealogies that are a little different, that slightly differ, slightly vary. We would find other names. Wait, is this Hezron the same as that Hezron? Oh, look at this. There's a Hezron and a Ram, and in between them, there's somebody else. See, right? Hezron, Ram. If we find genealogy that have Hezron, Ram, Aminadab, but then they have other people where, oh no, who are these other people? Genealogies. I mean, they had brothers and sisters, and like I say, people had similar names. So you could coincidentally very easily find a similar string of names that's not the same. Yeah, the genealogy stuff gets confusing. They named him Obed. Okay. The father of Jesse, the father of David. Let's go look up Jesse. There's a song. Jesse's mom has got it going on. Right? Jesse. Sorry. Since we didn't find much on Obed, the neighbor woman joined the celebration. A son has been born to Naomi. They named him Obed. He was the father of Jesse, the father of David. And then 422, Obed was the father of Jesse, and Jesse became the father of David. Yeah, there we go. In between 417 and 422 is the genealogy. 417, genealogy. These are the descendants, or LSB, this NASB, the super literal. These are the generations. Descendants, generations, a family line of Perez. The record. Oh, look, this is a genealogy record. Okay. So 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Over here, 20, Ruth 422. Why am I pointing all this out? Trying to get familiar with like, wait, 417? What's that? What's that? Oh my gosh. Like two totally separate things. And one of them, I don't even know what a 417. What is it 417? Wait, this is Jesse. Oh my goodness. And so then when I go, look, here's Jesse, here's Jesse. What do they have to do with each other? Why are they in that? This kind of stuff goes on in people's minds when they're studying the Bible. It really does. Like when people are studying the Bible or just studying in general, that kind of like messing up that I was just like out loud, oh my goodness, it actually happens. I know. So we want to see these things as whenever I say 417, we're in the book of Ruth. Okay, so we're talking about Ruth 417. We know Ruth 4 is the last chapter. Okay, we've been talking about over here, Ruth 417 over Obed 417. Obed, he was the father of Jesse, the father of David. 422 is only a few verses later. In the same chapter of Ruth, same chapters at least, in the same book. Obed was the father of Jesse, became the father of David, father of Jesse, father of 447. You can see they're related. So now, instead of doing the freak out, like, how is this related to that? And why is this the same as that when they're not the same? There's two different numbers. We can see that they're related. We can see the whole lay of the land. It's like whenever people have directions on a map and all they do is turn here. Now turn there. Now turn left at that red light. Okay, get in the right lane. You could do it that way. What happens after what happens if you kind of memorize the map? You kind of look at the names on the street names, right? You have a map in front of you, you can see. You've studied it a little bit. You've thought about the map, right? You ask the person, so I turn here, there, okay. Oh, I need to get over to the okay. Well, now you've kind of got in your head. So then whenever you hear do this, do that, you've got a little more lay of the land. But you might have just enough knowledge to get even more confused. What happens whenever you've driven that route, though? 6 or 7 times, 8 times, 10 times. What happens after a month of driving that route? And you're like, hey, I need to get gas. Oh, is there a gas station on my route? I don't know. I've just been driving the route. Oh, hey, there's an Exxon. Oh, hey, There's an HEB, a grocery store with gas. Oh, hey, there's a gas station, Okay. So whenever I go over there, instead of seeing it from the road, I'm now seeing the road from a different vantage point. So now I see more of it. So here we're looking at Obed from the road, but then I go try and look and search for Obed in other places. See Obed Edom, we're looking at it from a different vantage point. Eventually, you drive that route, you stop at places along that route. What if you're just driving from another place and then you drive up on that route and you go, wait, hey, this is the route I go every day to work. But you're coming from, say, your grandma's house, so you come from the opposite direction. You recognize it now. That's, that's what happens. You start to recognize a place. This happens when people, I like driving, I like going places, stuff. In football, in sports, some people are like, I don't know what a 10th down is. I don't know what a strike in baseball is. Other people, though, they go to baseball and they learn the game and they could talk about strikes, balls, innings. They could talk about first down, interception, touchdown. It's so easy to them. We're trying to get the Bible to be less. Oh my gosh, I don't know what a first down is. Oh, wait, they said what in football? Why is the referee out there? Less that way and more. Okay, so they're going into the fourth quarter. That's the last quarter. Oh, I know why they had the ball because the other team caught it. Oh, that's an interception. We're trying to get more comfortable with it. Right here. Let's look at Samuel. Samuel is sent to Bethlehem. 25 of Jesse. Okay. First Samuel 16:1. So who's Samuel? The Lord said to Samuel. All right. Obed was the father of Jesse. Jesse became the father of David. Oh, okay. So Ruth produced Obed, who is the father of Jesse, who is the father of David. The Lord said to Samuel, how long will you grieve for Saul, who I have rejected as king of Israel? Saul's rejected as king of Israel. Fill your horn with oil and be on your way. I'm sending you to Jesse of Bethlehem. Where was Elimelech from? Bethlehem. Sorry, guys. Previous chapter. Previously, in chapter 1 of Ruth. Now it came to pass in the days of when the judges ruled that there was a famine in the land, and a certain man of Bethlehem, Judah. 1 second. Let's see. Hide references. There we go. Went to dwell in the country of Moab. The name of the man was Elimelech. The name of his wife was Naomi, and the names of his two sons were Mahlon and Chilion, Ephrathites of Bethlehem. Pretty cool, huh? They're living in Bethlehem. Ephrathites, Ephrathah. I looked that up a while back, and Ephra was like the name of a lady that somebody married, and somehow the place. How does a name get placed after? How does a place get named after a lady? I'm not entirely sure. But we kind of looked it up, and that's why Ephrathites. Ephrathites was the name of somebody. I think it's a lady. Yeah, we'll look it up again. But they're in Bethlehem. Here we go. For your horn with oil, be on your way. I am sending you. God, the Lord said to Samuel, I, God, am sending you, Samuel, to Jesse of Bethlehem. For from among his sons I have decided on a king. No, full chapter. Read full chapter. But Samuel replied, how can I go? Saul, remember, look at this. I have rejected Saul, whom I have rejected as king of Israel. How can I go? Saul will hear of it and kill me. To this the Lord answered, take a heifer and say, I have come to sacrifice to the Lord. Invite Jesse to the sacrifice, and I myself will tell you what to do. You are to anoint for me the one I point out to you. Remember, he's going to find a king. So near Jesse, from among his sons, I have decided on a king. God said, I will point out to you the one that's going to be king. Samuel did as the Lord had commanded. He takes the cows, When he enters Bethlehem, the elders of the city came trembling in to meet him and asked, "Is your visit peaceful, O seer?" He replied, "Yes, I have come to sacrifice to the Lord." That's what God told him to do. Take the heifer, go. So purify yourselves and celebrate with me today. He also had Jesse and his sons purify themselves, invited them to the sacrifice. As they came, so they're to sacrifice. Seems like the whole town's there, but Jesse's there. His sons, as they came, he looked at Eliab and thought, "Surely the anointed is here before the Lord." But the Lord said to Samuel, "Do not judge from his appearance or from his lofty stature, because I have rejected him. God does not see as a mortal see, who sees the appearance. The Lord doesn't look at the outer appearance. The Lord looks into the heart." Okay, so Jesse's supposed to be anointing his son. This is supposed to have something to do with David, right? Well, this is at least Jesse, a Bethlehemite, right? The son of Obed. So, I mean, this is like, it doesn't tell son of Obed here. But we do know is Jesse is a Bethlehemite. And watch this. Then Jesse called Aminadab and presented him before Samuel, who said, "The Lord has not chosen him." Next, Jesse presented Shammah, but Samuel said, "The Lord has not chosen this one either." In the same way, Jesse presented 7 sons before Samuel, but Samuel said to Jesse, "The Lord has not chosen any of these." And Samuel asked Jesse, "Are these all the sons you have?" Jesse replied, "They're still the youngest, but he is tending the sheep." Samuel said to Jesse, "Send for him. We will not sit down until he arrives here." Jesse had the young man. Jesse has one more son tending sheep. Jesse had the young man brought to them. He was ready, a youth with beautiful eyes, good looking. The Lord said, "There, anoint him, for this is the one." This dude's getting anointed king. Then Samuel. Something's wrong with my mouse. What is this? You got this all messed up. Oh, yeah. I'll be okay. All right, here we go. I say, all right, here we go. And then I keep messing around. Okay, my mouse. I just picked it up like you can see. Okay. The Lord said, "There, anoint him, for this is the one." Then Samuel, with the horn of oil in hand, anointed him in the midst of his brothers. And from that day on, the Spirit of the Lord rushed upon David. It doesn't say here, David is his son, right? What if somebody else is named David? What if there's somebody somewhere else? From the day that Jesse anointed the youngest son, there's somebody else named David. The Spirit of the Lord departed from Saul, and he was tormented by an evil spirit. Okay, just so we can show that that is the same David, right? First Samuel. Jesse purified 6:18, 6:10. Remember, Jesse presented Shammah. So this is the same story. 16:10, the same way Jesse, all his sons. Same, I used all his sons you had. Jesse replied, "They're still the youngest." Yep. 16:12, 16:18. One of the servants spoke up, "I have observed that a son of Jesse of Bethlehem is a skillful harpist. He is also a brave warrior and an able speaker and a handsome young man. The Lord is certainly with him." 1 Samuel 16:18. 16:19, the next verse. Accordingly, Saul dispatched messengers to ask Jesse to send him his son David, who was with the flock. Then Jesse took 5 loaves of bread, a skin of wine, and a young goat, and sent them to Saul with his son David. David. Obed was the father of Jesse. Jesse became the father of David, and they live in Bethlehem. Look at that. David. King David. If you know your Sunday school lesson, your Bible lesson from your kids, David and Goliath. Yes. Is that David? Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. We're we're at verse 22, but we're on verse. Then the neighbor women joined the celebration. The sons were born to Naomi. They named him Obed. He was the father of Jesse, the father of David. Then we get the genealogy to prove it. Pretty cool, huh? Now, I'm not sure how long I've been recording. It says an hour and 18 minutes, but I believe I had the I believe I had the thing on for a while before I actually started recording. I had Zoom on for a while. So now at the bottom of the screen, you can't see it, but I can see it. It says an hour and 18 and 22 seconds, 23 seconds. But I'm sure it's less than an hour and 18 minutes. But since we stopped at the genealogy, we'll just read it and they'll go ahead and go. Okay. These are the descendants of Perez. Perez? Wait, oh, so Boaz was the father of Obed, the father of and Elimelech. Elimelech the father, Boaz. Where's Perez come in all this? Malin and Chilion were the sons of Naomi and and Elimelech. I have to figure out next time where. Okay, let's see if we read if something happens. These are the descendants of Perez. Perez was the father of Hezron. Hezron was the father of Ram. Ram was the father of Aminadab. Aminadab was the father of Nahshon. Nahshon was the father of Salma. Salma was the father of Boaz. And I bet, yeah, your father Boaz, which means he was related closely to Elimelech. So Elimelech was probably somewhere in this genealogy. Elimelech might have been the son of Aminadab or grandson of Nahshon. Salma, Boaz. It doesn't tell us if he's a cousin or if he's a brother of Elimelech. It just says he's a close relative. So Elimelech is somewhere in this family line as well. It's probably why it starts with Perez. Probably starts with Perez because maybe that's where Elimelech is. Maybe Perez has some other kids, like here's Hezron, Ram, Aminadab. Then maybe Perez has other kids over here somewhere who eventually have Elimelech. But Perez and Boaz are related. Boaz and Elimelech are related ultimately through Perez. Maybe that's why they go back to Perez, something like that. Like you said, this is confusing. Salma was the father of Boaz. Boaz was the father of Obed. Obed was the father of Jesse, and Jesse became the father of David. King David. Awesome David. He is the one the New Testament is like God made tons of promises to him. And the New Testament is like David this, David that. The son of David is the Messiah. Jesus is the son of David. Who's going to save him? The son of David. David is everything. It's like, boom. Like even starting in the Old Testament, they knew this guy David was a special and important guy. Pretty cool, huh? Well, I'm gonna go ahead and stop it. And whenever this whole video processes and such, then we'll see just how long it is. This has been an interesting one. Uh Grandmothers lactating and breast milk and your wet nurses, and we looked at genealogy, we talked about levirate marriage, sort of. We talked about all what other stuff we talked about, the neighbor women. We just like a hodgepodge, right? We restore your life. This is, you know, the hodgepodge. I think I'm gonna put Ruth chapter 4 ending or near, second half or something. There's a lot. All right, guys, stop share. I'm gonna pixelate his face, but just for a second, so I can pray. Let's pray. Lord God, thank you very much for loving us, for being good to us, for being kind to us. Thank you. We just want to say that you're wonderful and awesome. And you being good to us is you being wonderful and awesome. All the glory goes to you. Thank you, Lord, for sending Jesus to be our example, our helper, to die and rise for us, forgiving us of our sins, letting us being able to be with you and walk with you all our days. Amen. See y'all on the next very basic Bible. Mhm.